The night was cloaked in darkness as Sarah and Mark made their way to the edge of town. They had heard rumors of a haunted carnival that appeared only once a year, and tonight was the night. Excitement mixed with trepidation as they approached the flickering lights and eerie music that beckoned them forward. The carnival was unlike any they had ever seen. The rides were old and rusty, their creaks and groans echoing through the night. The stalls were manned by shadowy figures in tattered clothing, their faces obscured by masks or heavy makeup. A thick fog hung in the air, adding to the sense of foreboding that permeated the place. As Sarah and Mark ventured deeper into the carnival, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The eyes of the carnival workers followed them, and the whispers of the crowd sent shivers down their spines. But they were determined to unravel the mystery of this haunted spectacle. Their first stop was the Hall of Mirrors. The distorted reflections in the mirrors seemed to come to life, showing them grotesque versions of themselves. Sarah's face twisted into a horrifying mask, while Mark's body contorted into impossible shapes. They stumbled out of the hall, their hearts pounding, but the laughter of the carnival workers echoed in their ears. "Let's try the Ferris wheel," Mark suggested, hoping that a ride would ease their nerves. They climbed into a rickety, old-fashioned Ferris wheel, and as it slowly ascended, the view of the carnival below became more sinister. The carnival workers had gathered in a circle, their chantings growing louder, their faces hidden beneath twisted masks. Sarah and Mark exchanged fearful glances as the Ferris wheel reached its peak. The entire carnival seemed to hold its breath, and then, with a sudden jolt, the wheel began to spin faster and faster, their car swinging wildly. They screamed in terror as they were flung about, the world spinning around them. Just as they thought they couldn't take it any longer, the ride screeched to a halt, leaving them breathless and disoriented. When they stumbled out of the Ferris wheel, the carnival workers were gone, as if they had never been there. "We need to get out of here," Sarah said, her voice trembling. But as they tried to leave, they found themselves back in the heart of the carnival, trapped in a never-ending loop. Panic set in as they realized they were unable to escape. Desperation drove them to seek help from a fortune-teller's tent. Inside, an old woman with milky white eyes sat at a table covered in tarot cards. She looked up at them, her gaze penetrating their souls. "I see your fate," she croaked. "You are trapped in this cursed carnival, but there is a way out." "How?" Mark asked, his voice shaking. The fortune teller pointed to a nearby carousel, its horses frozen in a macabre dance. "Ride the carousel of lost souls. If you survive, you'll earn a ticket to another carnival." With no other options, Sarah and Mark reluctantly approached the sinister ride. As they climbed onto the ghostly horses, the carousel began to spin, its eerie music growing louder. The horses seemed to come to life, their eyes glowing red as they galloped in a frenzied race. Sarah and Mark clung to their mounts, trying to stay on as the carousel spun faster and faster. The world blurred around them, and they felt as though they were being pulled into another dimension. The carnival workers appeared again, their masks now twisted into grotesque grins, urging the riders on with maniacal laughter. But Sarah and Mark were determined to survive. They held on with all their strength, their screams mixing with the haunting melody of the carousel. The ride seemed to go on for an eternity, but finally, with a bone-chilling creak, the carousel ground to a halt. Sarah and Mark were thrown to the ground, bruised and battered, but alive. The carnival workers had disappeared once more, leaving them alone in the eerie silence. "We did it," Mark gasped, relief washing over him. But as they stood up and looked around, they realized something was different. The carnival had transformed. The rides were now colorful and inviting, the stalls bustling with cheerful customers. The fog had lifted, and the moon shone brightly overhead. A ticket booth appeared before them, and a friendly-looking ticket vendor smiled. "Congratulations," he said, handing them 2 tickets. "You've earned your way out of the haunted carnival." Sarah and Mark couldn't believe their luck. With a sense of elation and disbelief, they exited the carnival and found themselves on the outskirts of a different town, a vibrant and lively one. They had survived the haunted carnival. As they walked away from the nightmare they had just escaped, they knew they would never forget the horrors they had witnessed. The memories of the twisted rides, the malevolent carnival workers, and the carousel of lost souls would haunt their dreams for years to come.